The new Russian general in charge of operations in Ukraine has said military reforms will respond to NATO's possible expansion and the collective West, which he accused of waging a hybrid war against Moscow. In his first public comments, Valery Gerasimov, chief of Russia's military general staff, admitted problems with mobilizing troops and broader challenges in the conflict that began 11 months ago. Military reforms announced mid-January could be adjusted to respond to security threats, he warned. Today, such security threats include the aspirations of the North Atlantic Alliance to expand to Finland and Sweden, as well as the use of Ukraine as a tool for waging a hybrid war against our country, he said. Finland and Sweden applied to join NATO last year, in response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Plans also call for 2 additional military districts in Moscow and Leningrad and 3 motorized rifle divisions as part of combined arms formations in Kherson and Zaporizhia, regions Russia claims it annexed in September after referendums denounced on the international stage as meaningless. Western allies are supporting Ukraine in its efforts to defeat Russian forces by supplying weapons, ammunition, and humanitarian support. But as the war reaches its anniversary, the goals of Russia's special military operation have shifted. What began as an operation to denazify and demilitarize Ukraine is now referred to as a defense against Western hostility and a unipolar world. Poland has said it was willing to send German-made Leopard 2 tanks to Ukraine without approval, but would first seek permission from Berlin, as Kyiv presses its allies for heavy weaponry. European nations agreed on Monday to spend another €500 million, $543 million, to arm Kyiv in the latest boost to the multi-billion-dollar drive to help Ukraine push back Russian forces. The main goal of this work is to ensure guaranteed protection of the sovereignty and territorial integrity of our country, Gerasimov said. However, while scores of nations have pledged military hardware, Kyiv is clamoring for more advanced and heavier weapons, notably the powerful Leopard 2, seen as key to punching through enemy lines. After days of mounting pressure and stalling, German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock on Sunday said Germany would not stand in the way if Warsaw asked to send Leopard 2 tanks. We will seek this approval, Poland's Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki told reporters Monday. Morawiecki didn't specify when the request to Germany will be made. He said that Poland is building a coalition of nations ready to send Leopard 2 battle tanks to Ukraine. Even if we didn't get such an approval in the end, we will give our tanks to Ukraine anyway, within a small coalition of countries, even if Germany isn't in that coalition, Morawiecki said. Poland announced earlier this month that it was ready to deliver 14 Leopard tanks to Kyiv but was waiting for a clear statement from Berlin authorizing the transfer. Berlin has insisted on the need for all allies to work together. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz's spokesman reiterated that stance Monday, saying the government does not rule out the tanks' transfer, but adding, it has not yet decided. Although Berlin has provided substantial aid, it has been repeatedly criticized for dragging its feet on providing military hardware. German government spokesman Stefan Hebestreit said it was important for Germany not to take a reckless step it might regret, adding that a decision will not be rushed. These are hard questions of life and death, he added. We have to ask what this means for the defense of our own country. Pressed on how long a decision on sending tanks might take, Hebestreit said, I assume that it's not a question of months now. Julian Pavlak, a research associate at the University of the Federal Armed Forces Hamburg, said that although many countries including the United Kingdom and United States have sent various weapons to Ukraine, it is still a long way before really sending those numbers of 300 tanks or 600 infantry fighting vehicles. Haunted by its post-World War II guilt, Germany has always acted carefully when it comes to conflicts. Under Germany's War Weapons Control Act, Poland and other purchasing countries require Berlin's approval to hand over the Leopard tanks to Ukraine. The act aims to prevent German-made armaments from being used in conflict zones against Germany's interests. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said the latest developments on Western Europe sending tanks to Ukraine signaled increasing nervousness among members of the alliance. On Friday, some 50 nations agreed to provide Kyiv with billions of dollars worth of military hardware, including armored vehicles and munitions needed to push back Russian forces. European foreign ministers on Monday agreed to spend an extra €500 million, $543 million, to arm Ukraine, diplomats said. This takes the total common European Union spending to €3.6 billion, $3.9 billion. Ukraine has called the tanks key to its effort in the war, which has seen heavy fighting in the nation's east. Neither side shows signs of backing down as the war heads for a second year. Ukrainian intelligence assessed that Russian forces are preparing for an offensive effort in the spring or early summer of 2023, partially confirming that Russian troops may undertake a decisive action in the coming months. Ukrainian Main Intelligence Directorate (GUR) Representative Vadim Skibitsky stated on January 20 that the spring and early summer of 2023 will be decisive in the war and confirmed that the GUR has observed indicators that Russian troops are regrouping in preparation for a big offensive in Donetsk and Luhansk oblasts. Head of the independent Russian human rights organization Russia Behind Bars, Olga Romanova, claimed on January 23 that out of the assessed 50,000 prisoners that Wagner has recruited, only 10,000 are fighting on front lines in Ukraine due to high casualty, surrender, and desertion rates. Russian Duma Chairman Vyacheslav Volodin met with Iranian Parliamentary Speaker Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf and Iranian President Ebrahim Raisi in Tehran on January 23 to expand bilateral cooperation efforts. Ghalibaf noted that Moscow and Tehran should strive to strengthen ties in the banking, energy, and commodity trading sectors in the face of American sanctions, which Volodin credited for bringing the two countries closer together.